Good evening and welcome to the Shadow Realm. My name is Ghostly and I shall be your host for this evening. Now today's video is going to be unscripted and a little bit different to how we normally go about on this channel. I thought we could take a look at some of the lines I recorded for the Dapper Kingdom Thin Ice fan game created by Zekron. And I thought as I was saying these lines we could swap some stories about how these lines came to be and some interesting stuff that happened when recording. So without further ado, we'll get into it. Now the first voice is Pippin, who, if you've been on this channel for a while, you will know as the adorable seal that gives daily, or not daily, but weekly affirmations to help you feel better. And he is an adorable adolescent baby seal. And this was the first line I ever recorded for him. And it goes, "Preparing for next week's iceberg takes more work than I thought." And yeah, this is the first line I ever recorded for Pippin, and it's the same line I use every single time before a recording to get into the voice. It has become so synonymous with the character at this point that I don't think I could do this voice without first saying this line, and I had to say this line over and over again for not quite a year, but close to a year before the game actually came out, every time I needed to pull out the Pippin voice. And he had a couple lines. He didn't just go, "Preparing for next week's iceberg take more work than I thought." He actually also did, Zekron, where are you?" Because his best friend on the iceberg is Zekron, the lore master, and he went missing after getting held back and fighting toxicity. And yeah, there's kind of only Pippin's real appearance in this game, and so we'll move on to Ghostly, and they are the host of the Shadow Realm, and the main character I voice and play when I'm not doing the Pippin videos. And one thing to note is this is just going to be the raw vocal takes, so this doesn't have the otherworldly editing we do that appears in the game. So let's go. I've tried everything. Medicine, various types of alchemy and enchantments. Mystic even used the wake-up slap technique. Now, something about this line is that it didn't originally look like this. We added the Mystic slap techniques. We thought it added a bit of comedy and lightens the mood a bit on such a dark situation where Zekron is unknowingly going through something and we can't wake him up. And this is in response to people talking about something to go through Zekron's mind. And my character says, "Really? Mind dive. It allows someone to open the mind of another person and explore it physically." And this was the setup for the game, was that our Dapper King was going to go into the mind of Zekron to purge the toxicity, and he was going to bring one of the mods. And it was called a mind dive. And we have other lines. This is probably the most emotion Ghostly shows when I voice them, because they're usually quite calm, collected, not much emotion coming through in their words. "Hold on! If something happens in there, whoever dives in could be stuck there forever." And yeah, this was a fun line to do because it was a chance to show a bit more emotion when Ghostly is quite controlled in how they appear. And there is one last line I wanted to do as Ghostly, which is one of their final lines before we get into the main part of the game. "Then who do you wish to take with you, Your Majesty? I have to maintain the mind dive, so it can't be me." And the reason I wanted to do this one is because I like the way we added Your Majesty, because Ghostly's quite formal in host mode, and also Ghostly wasn't allowed to go in the mind dive, so I thought it was quite fun to add this line. The last voice I did was one of the henchmen, or a shade, which is underneath and working for the toxicity. And something to note about this voice is that I first did it on a call where we were going through and playtesting, and I did this voice and I surprised everyone that was on it. It's quite a taxing one, and this one isn't done with any effects, so it goes,
"Hold on. I say we not waste any time and take them out."
Hang on, let me see if I can do that a bit better.
"Hold on. I say we not waste any time and take them out."
There we go, I had a bit of the growl towards the end. And yeah, this is the shade voice, probably the more complicated of the three I did in the game. People usually assume that it's done with an effect in post-production or an effect put on the microphone at the time, but it's just my voice. This was a fun line to growl.
"Those fools seem to have failed."
But yeah, this was a fun line to record, and I think there's one more. This is it. This was the hardest line to record. It was the second to last line on the script I was given, and the way I do the toxicity voice where I exhale as I speak means I run out of air. So there's a couple of takes where it gets quieter towards the end because I've run out of air going, I can't run out of air, but... And the other thing to note is I could record all of Pippin's voices in about one session. Ghostly, I split it into about 2 because it was a few more lines. I was doing 3 attempts at each line I was given for the Shade character, and I had to do it in 2 lines at a time. I was doing 6 recordings, but only 2 lines of the script because it was such a taxing voice. And it's gotten a little bit easier now that I've done it a bit more, but it's still quite taxing. So I think I've prolonged it long enough. Let's do the scary line. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to have the air for this. Okay, let's do it.
I mean, we don't have to stop them, really. We just need to hold them off at the very least, right?
And yeah, I'm not quite sure this was the last line I'd prepared to show. And yeah, I just thought we could have a few stories about some of the lines. I could record them again and use them next time I need to do these characters. And yeah, this is a little bit unscripted. I'm not quite sure where to go. But thank you very much for watching and taking an interest in all of this. And yeah, as Ghostly usually says, thank you very much for visiting the Shadow Realm. Until next time.